Androids and armchairs, toys and twirls. You are now tuned into the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Jen Diz.
And that's Mike TV.
Today we have a lot of fun lined up, including Armchair Imagineering ideas from fans, a look back at the 80s sitcom Small Wonder, and a silly game about places and palaces.
All right, welcome everyone. It's episode 151, and we figured since we hit a milestone, it might be time for a little bit of a change, and we have decided to go ahead and start launching our podcast on YouTube as well. What? Just hit the microphone with
so
my
now,
thumb. Sorry about
anyone who would like to also see our strange behind-the-scenes facial expressions and off-camera mishaps, you'll now be able to see them on camera because we're going to record these podcast episodes as we record them. Here we go.
That is right. And you may see that I'm a little flushed today because it's a little hot.
Oh, it's very hot.
A little hot. So I'm a little red. It looks like I have a sunburn. I'm just hot, girl. I am hot up in here. But should be a lot of fun. So, Mike, did you get ready? And like, first impressions mean a lot, right? So now we're on YouTube. Did you get dressed up for the occasion?
Zero to hero. I just thought, I'm just going to bring it the same way I do, kind of tidied up the background a little bit, but I'm just bringing it as I normally would when we shoot, like after a work day, we get together in the evening. I'm on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast, so it's a little bit later here. I just want to be comfortable, so I got a t-shirt on that has Castaway Key on it from the Disney cruise ship, which is something I would totally just normally wear anyways. So
right.
So there you go. Nothing other than that that's special. What about you?
Same. I mean, I 100% had all these high hopes to do something cool and like get more into it. It's been a long day at work. Let's be real. We've been 150 episodes in. It's not our first day. So
Yeah.
It's all good. We're here and we are now expanding our platform, and that is good enough.
Yes. And I also like the fun and challenge of describing things to someone who's listening. So I think at the end of the day, this is always going to be a audio podcast, but it's just really fun to have this video sort of supplement to it.
Absolutely.
And just see where it goes and what happens. But yeah, I do like describing things sort of like a book or listening to an audio movie, or when we do those fun like drive-throughs to the park and we're describing all of these wacky things we're making up, the viewer is still going to have to use their imagination.
I like that. Maybe we can close our eyes a little bit here and there, even though you're watching a YouTube video. Whatever you need to do to focus. Well, with that said, you want to jump on into our topic for the day?
Yes. So we have been talking actually a lot about AI in general. I was going to say on the podcast, but it also has bled through to work and just like the zeitgeist out there. So artificial intelligence and the way it's sort of taking over with newer technologies like ChatGPT, but it's always been around. But I want to take us all the way back to the 80s. Now, do you remember a girl, she's near and dear to my heart, named Vicky, and she's one of the first AIs on television?
I sure do, and I was wondering about that. Is she the first, or I think there was some sci-fi stuff with AI before her, but she's probably the first AI sitcom member.
Yeah, and it was in that time, during that time where studios and networks were taking huge risks with weird stuff. Alf was also on.
Yes.
Cat-eating alien Muppet. Like, what?
And I think he loved milkshakes. He had a couple things. It was very weird.
Yeah. Small Wonder is the name of the show that Vicky was on. And I also call ChatGPT now Vicky. So if you ever hear me say, oh, Vicky, help me with this, I'm actually talking about ChatGPT. But what I didn't know when I was doing research for this episode, that Vicky is an acronym for something. So Vicky, the android robot from the show Small Wonder, Small world, after all.
Is it Small World after
You
all?
see how it just
Yeah.
small wonder. It stands for something. So first of all, it's VICI. V
Wait a
dot I
second. The
dot
actual
C dot.
show, Vicky, is an acronym?
Small wonder, the show.
That is very cool. Okay, I did not know that. So VICKI.
VICI.
Oh, just VICI.
Yeah, you know, they kind of just made it up. And then because of that, they call her Vicky. So it stands for Voice Input Child Identicant.
Identicant.
Ooh,
New word I
creepy.
learned today.
Yeah. So she's an android. She's supposed to be forever 10 years old. And I loved that show. What do you remember about it?
I was obsessed with this show when I was a kid. I wanted to be her. I don't know why. I just thought she was like super cool. And I wanted her as a friend because it's like the best kind of friend. She never leaves your house. She lives in the closet.
She's always
Like she's
down to hang
always
out.
there. You could just put her away when you're annoyed with her. Like she's the best kind of thing to have around. So yeah, I don't think I wanted to actually be like her. I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna say I wanted to be like best friends with her.
Like have her handy
Have my own
nearby.
Vicky, yeah. My own
Yeah,
best friend.
that could be really fun. It's like Tamagotchi or like any of those things, but
Right.
walking, talking. So yeah, the show was pretty popular for about 4 years, 1985 to 1989. And I remember loving it too. I liked the whole sort of hiding a secret, like the family hiding a secret in their suburbs. Like that always is entertaining to me. Like WandaVision was kind of like that. And this
Right.
was like that too, because nobody knew that she was an android. So they would have to like keep playing it off when she would do weird things. And like the dad's boss was there, he would have to like explain. And then they would put her in the closet sometimes. This is really weird, but nobody knew she was an android. They just thought they adopted this girl, human girl. Very weird.
Okay. I don't really remember that part, but now you're saying it's totally bringing back memories of that. I totally forgot that they were hiding her. That's
Yeah,
funny.
so weird. What about the neighbor, Harriet? I was gonna say Hillary. Harriet. Remember
Oh,
her?
like the girl with
Freckles?
the big curly hair.
Yeah, she was fun.
I don't remember much about her except for she was super obnoxious.
So the reason I'm bringing Small Wonder up is because, okay, hear me out. You know, Disney owns everything now. They bought 20th Century Studios, which is Fox. Fox owns Small Wonder. So Disney now owns Small Wonder. Boom.
Technically Disney.
Technically Disney. And
Small
it's
wonder
now's the
after all.
time. Small wonder after all. Is that the episode title? Perhaps. You know, I think that it's about time the show gets rebooted. Everything from the east to west is being rebooted, but this is the one show that actually needs to. It makes the most sense right now to do a reboot
Right.
of
Yeah,
like having an
absolutely.
AI child in your house that you're hiding. And Disney Plus, come on, let's do it. I'm into it.
Huh. Have you seen the movie Ex Machina?
I've seen the movie Ex Machina. Have you seen
Oh,
that one?
Ex Machina.
No, I'm just
Yes,
kidding.
that's it.
That's with Moon Knight. Moon
Yes,
Knight,
yes.
aka
Mm-hmm.
Poe Dameron,
Yep.
and oh god, the bad guy from Star Wars is in it too. Red hair, Kylo Ren's
Oh yeah.
nemesis, but he's like a
Hux.
nice guy. Hux. Yeah. I love that. You know, Disney holics, we see the connections no matter what. I can't help it.
Right? I mean, and AI is like everywhere. I always love when I'm at work and I have someone else share their screen. I always, for some reason, because I'm a creep, I always look at their bookmarks and there's always ChatGPT bookmarked on every single person's browser in like every different field of our company. You know what I mean? Like there's just, it doesn't matter what department they're in, they still use ChatGPT. It's very popular.
Yeah.
I think this would be the perfect timing to do that. And I think that's a great idea and it'd be really fun. I would like maybe keep it a comedy.
Yeah, that would be a good
That'd be
idea.
really
I would
fun.
like it to stay funny. Um, I think it would do well. I'm thinking Disney Plus. Yeah, not a movie, right? I think we'd want a series,
Yeah,
maybe.
Disney
Yeah,
Plus
yeah.
series.
Keep it a series. Now, would you still want it to be sort of that format where it's like live and there's an audience, or did you want it to be updated like Modern Family style where it's
Ooh, I wouldn't
multi-camera?
hate that. I would love Modern Family style for that, actually.
Ooh, it could be,
A
yeah,
good one.
especially like the mishaps and stuff, and them talking about how they got
Yeah.
through it.
I can't
Okay.
even imagine. I haven't seen a regular sitcom style show that, unless I was watching like reruns or something in a million years. I haven't seen like, do we even have anything
There's
current
not that many. Most of them are still on network versus on
Yeah.
streaming. So like if you watch Mom with Anna Faris and Allison Janney, that one is still does it, but there's
Okay.
very few and far between. Yeah. I think some of
Interesting.
the shows that I just completely skipped that are really popular on networks are the same, like Big Bang Theory and
Oh, right. Like they're still thriving from the time where that was normal.
yeah, and on the same channels too, probably the same time slot that would have been like Will and Grace or Friends or
Right.
Cheers. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, cheers.
Okay, yeah, I would like that. And while we're at it, I thought I would ask Vicky herself what she would do if she rebooted her own show.
Yes, perfect.
And so I went into Vicky, aka ChatGPT, but first I had to fluff her up and tell her who she is. So I said, "Hey, your name is Vicky. You're inspired by the lead robot character from Small Wonder." And she already like cut me off. "I'm familiar with Small Wonder and its lead robot character, Vicky, voice input child identikit."
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's so spooky. It goes, "While I can emulate the character for fun, for the sake of this conversation, I can only adopt a Vicky-like tone." What does that mean? Like copyright already? Like she just is already worried about getting sued?
Mm-hmm.
That is so bizarre. Okay, so I said, "Whatever, girl. Yeah, just tell us what the reboot would be like." So she said, "Okay." I said, "What would you do for modern audiences? What would you create?" And it would be on Disney Plus. So Vicky said, "That's a fun and imaginative question."
Wow, she even compliments you.
She, she goes,
Wow, I think you have a Vicky, a new best friend.
right? Ooh,
Put
I
her in your
just should
closet.
fuck her all the time. She goes, "Well, here's what might resonate with modern audiences on Disney Plus." And so the title is already genius. It's simple. Small Wonder 2.0. Because it's already software upgrade, all that
Right?
comes along with it, reboot, sequel. It's self-referential.
They could do a pilot that's called like beta.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. The setting, a high-tech city in 2023. Skyscrapers, drones, and smart cars dominate the landscape. So this is telling me that Vicky was already creating like a kind of different future, maybe more futuristic than our current 2023. I'm not sure. She says
Okay.
high-tech city. I guess it could also even be like a Dubai or Singapore. They're like trying to go for that kind of look.
Sounds
Okay,
like
the premise,
Jetsons.
Jetsons. The premise, according to Vicky, is it's been decades since the original Vicky was created. Ted Lawson's invention remained a secret, but he did go on to become a famous tech mogul. Okay, this is getting good. Now, in an era of advanced artificial intelligence and robotics, a young genius named Alex Lawson, Ted's granddaughter, oh, I already love that her name is Alex, Ted's granddaughter, discovers Vicky, who's been deactivated and stored away in the family attic. And that's the pilot. It starts in there. That is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, like imagine having like a, not like a Zuckerberg, because the guy was already kind of older, so maybe more like a Bill Gates kind of character, Microsoft, and then he left the secret along way behind for some project that ended up turning something else. Granddaughter finds it, and then there's a whole show here to be had.
Oh my God, that could be like, oh my God, hold on. So Vicky, in this case, has a very great idea because I can also see an outdated AI. Like if they pull this AI out of the attic that hasn't been turned on since the 80s, then like it could be really comical of them like doing throwbacks to the 80s. And everybody right now is in nostalgia mode. So like that could
Oh
be
my
really
gosh.
good.
There's like endless entertainment they can pull from the fact that she was frozen in time. Yeah.
Right.
Genius. Oh my gosh.
She could even say like controversial things or like
Yeah.
things that aren't like PC anymore. And she'd be like, Vicky, hold on, I gotta teach you.
I really like that. And I like that they are keeping her alive. So it's that whole thing like Scream 6 or Scream 5. It's a requel
Right.
because it's rebooting it, but it's a sequel to the
But it's different. Yeah.
original. Yeah, they didn't kill her off. God, Vicky Chat GPT is really smart. I like this idea. There's more examples here. She says that there are some story arcs that she would suggest. She said, like technology and ethics. The show will explore the ethics of artificial intelligence and technology's impact on society. And then it introduces these other characters. Zara, Alex's best friend, so that's the grandkid's best friend, who's amazed by Vicky and becomes her guide to the modern world. So there you get Vicky juxtaposed with the quirky friend Zara.
Yes.
Oh wow. And then they have the neighbors coming back. They have the rebooted Vicky, so I guess they'll eventually try to modernize her. And there's also some Easter eggs. It says, let's add Easter eggs in the story arc. The show would have occasional callbacks to the original series, delighting fans of the classic.
Yes. Oh my God. Fan service. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, can we all just have a moment of silence for the Screenwriters Guild? Because I totally get it now.
Ouch. Ouch.
Right?
You're
This
so
is
right.
like actually
Yeah.
really good.
That
And
was
I'm like,
like
actually,
30
I was just
seconds it did
thinking,
that.
yeah. I'm just thinking how sad I am that this isn't a real thing we're reading about.
Oh shoot. You're right. You're right. Gosh, if anything, hopefully it becomes like inspiration, like it would help us get to this amazing show that we would have created, but we wouldn't have without the nudge. That's how I want to think about it at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
Man.
Yep.
It's too good. It's too good. So sometimes it pops out the right stuff, but don't use it for Disney on trivia, you guys, because
Yeah, it's not always accurate.
Vicky also believes in fire-breathing dragons to be part of reality, FYI. So got to be careful.
She thinks there's live animals in the Jungle Cruise.
She does. She thinks they're all, the Disney magic got a little to her head, I think.
Yes. So double check your work if you're using Vicky or ChatGPT for things that require factual information.
Yes.
There you go. But yeah, so Small Wonder, we'll see. Maybe in the next D23 Expo, they're going to talk about stuff and all of a sudden it'll pop up. But I did want to also talk about the fandom because we do love fans of anything. And Small Wonder has a fandom.
Okay, I did not know that.
Surprise,
I should
excited.
look into it. Now I want to rewatch it. I like really, really liked it when I was little. Shoot.
And I'm looking at pictures of it. She's so much younger than I remembered. Like, like the older you get, all young people all just look like a
because
child.
she like looked either our age or a little older. Like I was only 9 when that show went off the air, and she was already supposed to be 10. So
crazy. But anyways, yeah, there is a fandom, and they were doing like a Where Are They Now? And so I highly suggest people look this up. And I'm not going to give the details of what I found, but there's people who went as far as posting these people's current home address.
Stop. Well, like the actors?
The actors. And it was really weird. You know how I have like a really weird mind where I'm like, okay, I have a good theme for, one of our podcast episodes. So let's just blanket everything in that theme and have fun with it. This person went too far and they were like, how far has technology come since Vicky? And it said, we are now at the point where you could find their home and see it from the satellite. And they posted it. It's so bizarre and strange.
They could have just said that technology has come so far that I was able to find the address. Not, here it is, everybody, go stalk these people now.
Yeah. And it's like, they're even like trying to call people out. They're like, the kid who played the little boy, Jamie, he's like in Guadalajara, Mexico somewhere. We couldn't find his actual house.
Oh my gosh.
But there was movement for 3 weeks, and the tracker that we put on his car, this and that. I'm like, what?
Tracker we put on his car?
Yes.
No. Okay, yes, that's gone a little too far.
This blog they go. So we thought it'd be fun to find out. What have they been up to since? We tagged them with GPS trackers, like a bunch of wild animals, they said. Strange.
I mean, if you don't need to check yourself on that own statement you just provided to us, that you're treating humans like a bunch of packed wild animals, like good Lord.
Good Lord. What's the most you would do out of fandom for I guess in this case, like a living celebrity?
I haven't done much. I mean, I've had lots of big fandoms in my life, and I haven't really ever done anything creepy. So probably not much. I have stalked a celebrity online for their home address one time, but it
Oh.
wasn't for the celebrity. Do you know about this?
No, is it Pauly Shore?
No, why would it? No. It was John Stamos, and I wanted to ask him if he wanted to be on the Disney Holic show. Just kidding.
Oh, darn.
No,
Hey,
I
we still
stalked
need
out
him.
John Stamos because I knew he purchased the Disneyland marquee, and there's no way that you can like put that in your house. It's massive. So I'm like, he must have it like up in his backyard, and I want to see it.
Oh, that's
So,
smart. If it's the proper way, you would just see the top, huh? The line.
yeah.
Uh,
And so I was like, I need to find it, and I found it, and then I took a little trip on Google Maps, and I had to even like take a couple roads around it to like see correctly. And sure enough, his backyard, there's this big pole with only the letter D from the marquee up on this pole. And we went and found it in real
oh,
life too, but we never like went and
what?
knocked on his door or anything. I surprised Danielle with it. I pulled over. It was actually on Mulholland Drive. You can see it from
Oh,
Mulholland Drive. So we pulled over, and I'm like, I just want to take a quick picture real quick here. Do you mind? And so she's like, what? It's like this big windy road in the mountains of Hollywood. We're pulled over, and I hand her my camera to take a picture of me. And I'm pointing up at the sign, and she's like ready to take my picture. She's like, what? And
it
she like
was
notices it.
there.
It was so funny. It was
The
good.
big D. John Stamos's big D.
That's
Now,
right.
that thing that's always been a thing, right? In Hollywood, it was like maps to the stars, map of the stars, and you could find their addresses. So I think that's all right. What I'm realizing is so messed up about this one is that they are pretty much all not working celebrities anymore.
Yeah, like they may have just moved on with their lives, and
Yeah,
like,
because I was like, wait, I guess it's not so bad. Because yeah, I was like, we did that, we would drive, but I'm like, but those were like famous people, and like John Stamos, like he's famous, but these people, they're not famous. That's so sad and
yikes.
weird
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
creepy.
Did any of them
I
go on to do anything else? Do you know? Like, did they write about that in that fandom article you're talking about?
Nothing that stood out. Yeah,
Okay.
it was kind of like a weird ending to my research story for this episode. Like
Oh,
I was like, oh, where are they now? And it's like, wait, what? You tag their cards and then what? I thought they'd be like writers and directors or
something. Yeah,
something.
right.
Yeah. So
Like
if anyone
now
else
owning
out
their
there,
own AI business or something.
yeah, I'd rather live in the Vicky generated reboot requel
Yes, that should
of
definitely happen.
Small Wonder 2.0. Another quick squirrel too is that 20th Century, who owns Small Wonder, which now Disney owns. So they own Titanic, and Titanic merch has started showing up at Disney. Did you know this? It's so
At
weird and
Disney?
random. Yeah,
No. I thought you were
get
going to
the
say in general.
money.
I'm like, it's because of that submarine, which is really sad. People like
Oof.
Titanic was like the number one on Netflix during that time and stuff. And I was like, oof, like that's bad.
Ooh. But yeah, so they started releasing, and they're actually nice. I don't know who the fandom is, but they must exist, right? If there's a Small Wonder fandom, Titanic has to have a fandom.
Right. Oh,
It's
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it's in the top 5 movies of all time, which means like Disney owns like 9 out of 10 of them now.
My
But
gosh.
Titanic, Disney has put out some designs like really beautiful like leather journals and tea sets. They're supposed to look like what they actually had in the movie, like
Oh,
prop
okay.
replicas. And the prop replicas were inspired by, if not replicas of the real one. So I could see it's kind of a cool collector item. Now, I don't know if they have them at the parks yet. So I'm going to keep an eye out to see if they show up like at Hollywood Studios, but they're already on Shop Disney, and I've seen Disney fans like promoting the stuff. I was like, what? Okay, it kind of makes sense, but I hope they don't do anything with the movie. Like it doesn't need to be rebooted or
Yeah, like
sequelized.
that's what I'm wondering why the resurgence of
Yeah,
that right now.
yeah, curious and curious. But yeah, so with 20th Century, we could get fun things like Small Wonder, but we might also get weird things like a Titanic prequel, sequel. Who needs that? Reboot? No
The
thanks.
sequel would be real dark. I'll pass on that one. Oh my god.
Yes.
Well, speaking of things that make changes, we have our next topic, which is place or palace.
Oh.
And this one has everything to do with Princess and the Frog. So all those Princess and the Frog fans out there, listen up, because we want to hear if you know a little bit more about the new restaurant opening up in New Orleans Square of Disneyland. It's going to be called Tiana's Palace, not Palace.
Pot. Tiana's
Tiana's
Pot.
Palace. Tiana's Palace open, and a lot of people are very confused. Like, why are we calling it Tiana's Palace instead of Tiana's Place? So, Mike, do you know why?
So,
like, what's the real reason? Do you know why?
I know the real reason now. So I didn't really a while ago. So, for example, when the cruise ship restaurant opened and it was called one thing, and then there was like the movie was another thing, and then the announcement for the restaurant at the parks was another thing. I was getting so confused, and I was like, who's
Yes.
dropping the ball here? Like, it needs to just be one thing. Stop messing it up. Then, of course, we go to Reddit, and like always, you hear all the good perspectives, but also a potential real answer. So, what do you think it should be? And then I'll tell you a little bit about what I discovered.
Yeah, so I also discovered this through the Reddit link that you had sent me about this. So it's probably the same,
Ooh,
but I 100% think it's why. It's because at the end of the movie, which I did not know until I watched or until I read this Reddit, to the point where I even had to like open it on Disney Plus, fast forward to the end and fact check it, because I was like, what? Her new restaurant she opens at the end is called Tiana's Palace, and it's because she is now a princess instead of not a princess. So it's her palace. It's a bigger deal than just a place. And I thought that was really actually pretty cool. So it shows like not only her opening her restaurant finally, but it is now elevated into a palace because of her royalty that she's now added to the package.
Yeah. She married Prince Naveen. I think that is so cool. This is one of those perfect topics that all the fans, well, not all the fans, I should say me, I get caught up on like, is this the right name? Is it the wrong name? And ever since the D23 Expo, there's been like, what is going on with this restaurant? Why is it called? And had we just gone to the source material, the animators already had it for us. They already thought of ahead. They thought, here's what it's called when it's actually built and completed by the end of her story. It's Tiana's Palace. So there it is. So whatever, you can use either version, depends on, I guess, the part in the story it is. And since this one does take place, this one meaning the restaurant and the ride at the parks, right, takes place after the movie. Makes total sense. Tiana's Palace.
Yes. Well, there was a lot of other really fun things that were brought up within that Reddit thread. And do you want to talk about a few of those?
Oh, yeah. What did you see?
Okay. So, first of all, I love that somebody had posted, this person's name was like Nickfection. But their handle's Nickfection, and it says, I can't wait for the PB&J pizza. And then someone else responded back, said, classic New Orleans. And I was like, oh no, like that's what started me on a whole voyage to see if they had actually posted the menu. Turns out they haven't. And so I was like, are they just making a funny? I don't know how to read Reddit. Is this just a joke? What's going on?
Most of it is like 90% is people trolling other people.
Yeah, just trolling. And I'm like, what? They're not going to do that, because that's like a staple of Goofy's kitchen and people always make fun of it. So like bringing it into the palace would be like really bad. So let's hope not. And then I had one other thing I really liked where Lightside Runner posted and said, plot hole is Tiana's place on the Disney Wonder.
Yeah, so that's the ship version. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, I guess they set themselves up so that they can technically use whatever. It seemed like a slip to me at first, but fine.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it at the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, it was totally purposeful. And I was just like, that's so weird at the beginning.
Like place more sounds more like the character who opened up a restaurant.
Right.
Like, I don't think Tiana, because I know her so well, the character, as if the bee's knees.
The bee's knees.
I feel like Tiana's character, her essence, wouldn't call her own restaurant a palace. She'd be like, no, this is my place.
I agree.
Right? Like, come chill, hang with me.
It does feel more humble and more like
the neighborhood kitchen.
Fun. Yeah. And it also seemed like that's kind of what she wanted. She doesn't want a big fancy place. She wants like a little nice cozy place. So I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I like that better as well. But
You heard it here first. That means that this marriage is wrecking Tiana's soul.
there it goes. He's gonna ruin her, Naveen.
The monarchy is making her conform, and we don't like that. Tiana's foods.
Naveen, his bouge, like rubbed off on her, and she's like, "Oh, I have to call it a palace now."
Freaking Naveen.
God damn it.
Anything else fun come out of Reddit?
That's the only things that I wrote down about it. What did you have?
I have a fresh game for you that I was inspired through reading Reddit.
Okay.
And all the trolls and jokes. So I have a game for you. It's going to be called Place or Palace.
Okay.
No, it's not haunted. I don't know why I made a ghost sound. But I'm gonna give you
theremin.
A name of a place. And you have to tell me if I'm saying the name right. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with Buckingham Place.
No, wrong. It's Buckingham Palace. Ding, ding, ding.
Correct. Okay. In San Francisco, we have the Place of Fine Arts.
Wrong again. There's some very good escape rooms there, but it's called the Palace of Fine Arts.
Good job. Good job. You're
Thanks.
on a roll here. Let's see what sound effects I got a harp for you. Let's see. One of my favorite places to stay in Vegas is Caesar's Place because I love the casino and how big it is, and the Coliseum too.
I like that you're bringing up the only ones I probably know at the beginning. That is Caesar's Palace. You're wrong again.
It's not Caesar's Place. I've been calling it that this whole time. Okay. How about the this is also in Vegas. I don't know if you've been here before, but it's a casino. It's called Palace Station.
I'm gonna say that's correct because PlayStation just sounds like two of the same.
A game console. Da-da-da.
PlayStation.
Oh yeah. Okay. One of my favorite places to eat is called Crystal Palace.
Yes, correct.
Where is that? I'm confusing
I was gonna
myself.
say, have you ever ate there? It's in Disney World.
Winnie the Pooh meet and greet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever ate there before.
I've had, I think, a breakfast there with Winnie the Pooh. And it's not one of my favorite places to eat. I just couldn't really figure out a good wraparound for that word for you. And yeah. Okay, how about this? Ooh, I love one of the best old-time classic movies with like the best production design of its time, The Wizard of Oz. Mainly because of where what's his name? The king? Is that a king? Is that a king?
The wizard.
Oh, yeah, the wizard. I'm gonna just say the emperor or something. The wizard lived in the Emerald Palace, which is pretty cool.
Yes, I'll say that's correct.
I think it was Emerald City.
Okay, yeah. I was like, I thought you meant only palace or place.
So
I was just thinking it was
so
weird. I was having this brain squirrel where I was like, that reminds me of the Crystal Cathedral in Anaheim. It kind of looks like it, but green.
Oh, the way it shuts out.
Yeah.
The reason why is because here we go. We said never get your facts from ChatGPT. I got some of these from there, and it says the Emerald Palace from the 1939 film.
I mean,
Wizard
it might be
like within the city. Huh?
Yeah, if it's Emerald City, it's gonna have the Emerald Palace.
Yeah, fine.
I'll go for that.
Okay, there's a movie, a Rosgolling movie. Do you know who I'm trying to say?
Ryan Gosling.
Yes, good job. There's a Ryan Gosling movie called The Palace Beyond the Pines.
That one is The Place Beyond the Pines. Have you seen that movie?
No, is it dark?
It's dark, but yeah, I'll tell you. There's a story behind it later, but it's a tangent and a half, so I'll save that one.
And I think I've run out of. Oh, here's one. Cusco's Place. Cusco's place.
I'll stick with Palace for that one.
Correct. Do you know who that is?
Yes, from Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah. Yep. I still haven't seen the whole movie, but I'm like, yeah, he has a palace, right? Cusco's
Because I couldn't
palace.
remember him having a palace. So I was like, or a place. I was like, But I can't remember much of that movie either. Probably need to rewatch at some point. So I did pretty good. Finally.
You did. You did
I
pretty
never
good.
do well on these games. And here we are. This is the game I needed. Place or Palace. Thank you.
Place or palace. Pretty easy, pretty hard at the same time.
Oh my goodness. Well, with that said, our favorite line for segues in a
The
podcast.
podcast segue line.
We wanted to give a quick shout out to our listeners and our patrons. Thank you all so much for hanging tight with us. And now you get to see us live on YouTube, going through these transitions as we grow. Super fun. So thank you to all of you for everything, all of the support, all of the engagement. We love being able to chat with you guys. Like if you guys ever just want to like send us a message about something we talked about, we have quite a few people actually that will like kind of chat along with us on Instagram as they listen to our podcast.
Love that.
It's so fun because like I'll come back to it later. I can tell they're like typing live while they're listening. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna solve that for them in like 5 minutes. And then they'll write back like, oh, you just figured it out. So lots of moments where you guys get to correct us even is kind of funny. So like it's just lots of fun. Thank you all for all your support. It really does mean a lot to us. And then one thing that came out of this recently was one of our listeners wrote in, and we had been talking about Rebel Wilson on our last episode, Crop Dustin Through Milestones, best title ever. And we talked about Rebel Wilson getting in trouble at Disneyland for taking pictures in the secret bathroom. And we were trying to understand where this secret bathroom is. Like, what is this bathroom that she literally said illegal to take photos in? It's literally illegal to take photos in it. I'm like, that's wrong, I'm sure, but hey, that's how she said it. And we were just very curious, and we we're making some guesses, but we actually had one of our listeners confirm that it was Club 33 bathroom. So Thank you for writing in and letting us know that it was indeed Club
33. So you are not allowed to take photos in the Club 33 bathroom. Is that what we learned out of all this? That's crazy.
That's it. Supposedly you can't even video record in there anymore. Wow. I haven't been in so long because nobody invites me anymore. Damsel in distress face. But I haven't been in so long. I think that they did that whole renovation. They may have changed a bunch of rules because we were videotaping everything back then. Like they didn't care.
Videotaping. I don't hate it. So that it feels more like an experience, but dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the fun TikToks and stuff. And that makes sense too, because I don't think I see a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't see much. I see maybe some photos only, right? And then that's about.
Yeah. Or like, hey, I just went to Club 33. But after.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the reason why they banned it. Because all the influencers in there right now would just be like recording the whole time, right? Yeah. That actually would kind of change the experience.
Find people, they'll find ways to get in.
Or not even just influence everybody. Like they would just be like always on their phone recording everything. So, I mean, if we were doing a lot of that 10 years ago, like imagine now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't blame them.
Can't blame them. So one thing that we also love about not just our fans, but other Disney fans, Disney-holics, so to speak, are that we like to do our own versions of Armchair Imagineering and just taking concepts and figuring out what we would do with them, just like we did with Small Wonder earlier. But what's really fun to do is rides and attractions and shows and all that. So one of the questions that has been on my mind lately, because there aren't that many new projects announced for Disney, like far out. Like we're starting to see the end of everything, like the Moana thing. We got Cosmic Rewind. We're getting everything that was promised. So what's next? And so my question to you is, what rides do you think need to be gutted and remade? Does anything come to mind? Gutted and remade. What would you do with that?
Yeah. So I thought about this, and and I was very surprised by this, but most of the ones that I want gutted and removed and replaced or whatever are in Disneyland.
Whoops.
which felt really weird because
Yeah.
Disneyland is like sacred ground in a
That's
way, right? It's like,
untouchable, right? I thought.
yeah, right. But guess where it needs a lot of love? Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
So besides the entire Tomorrowland, I did list the ones that I especially think should have a look at. Buzz Lightyear, Astro frickin' Blasters, please. I wrote on my notes, all in one word. Get rid of that frickin' ride. Sorry. I know some people love it, but every time we go on there, it's like chipped up. It looks like a carnival attraction, like
It looks
something
like
you
a
could
carnival.
go like at a regular place, not
State
Disneyland,
fair
right?
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not that amazing, and I feel like they can do something really cool with the space it takes. Um, so that's why I'd like to get rid of that one. But yeah, it's always like kind of banged up, and we always say like, oh, maybe they're gonna do something because they aren't like repainting the cars. We keep thinking they're gonna do something big, and it just never happens. It just keeps getting busted up over all these years. So
And
don't
it's
know what's going
very
on with that. At least keep it pretty.
visible. Like the scuff marks and stuff
Yeah, it's
are
like
really
there's
visible.
paint rust and everything. And I'm like, this looks like an old janky, like tilt-a-whirl or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Here's what's weird. Why is it that we are generally okay with the like Mr. Toads and stuff surviving, even though those technically feel like those old carnival rides? There's something about it that feels different than Buzz.
yeah. Yeah, you would think that Buzz would be
The
better, right? Because it's
upkeep?
interactive. You can actually do something.
Yeah.
But those old rides have such charm to them, which I don't get at all out of Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
and they tell a story, like I guess Buzz Lightyear does as well, but these are like these classic Disney stories. Buzz Lightyear, like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Maybe kind of classic at this point, like what, 20 something years deep, 25 years probably by now or something, maybe even go close to 30.
Yeah.
Geez.
And those
Uh,
storybook ones, they're kind of, you're like in it because those things have to move out of the way so you could keep going.
that is true. It
Right.
is, and it's closer too. Like Buzz
Yeah.
Lightyear kind of in your car and things are around, but then the other one, you're like literally in it. Yeah. Um, yeah, they just have such nostalgia on them, and in the old school charm is on them too that
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear is just lacking.
And I like that they're
Um,
dark too. The Buzz Lightyear is really bright.
that's true. That's
I
true.
wonder
It's
if
real
that adds to
black light, like neon.
it. Yeah.
Um,
So what would you remake in that spot?
oh, I don't know. You know what I want to do with Tomorrowland already. We've talked about that before. I want to lay that thing out and make it a museum. Like make it Yesterland.
Let's say you
Just
had
go for it.
to reboot it. Let's say Bob Iger says to you, "Hey Gendiz, you're going to gut and remake Astro Blasters, but it has to still be Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters." Now what would you get stuck doing? What could that be?
Okay. I did this haunted house attraction at Not Scary Farm.
Ooh.
Probably like 4-ish years ago, like right before COVID. And it was so cool. It was, have you ever played those shooter games in the arcade where there's like zombies and they have like biohazard drums and they pop up behind the
Yeah.
things you have to shoot them? I would do something like that to where you're holding your own, but then holding guns is weird too. I guess you're already doing that on that ride. But I would
True.
make it like a walkthrough where there's things that you have to interact with somehow. And like it just seemed that was like one of the coolest things I've ever done. I swear I still think about it all the time. It was like a real life arcade game. Um, I'd probably do something like that and then make it like half the size so I can do something cooler with the other half. Because another thing, Buzz Lightyear to me is like, all right, we get it once it's over.
Yeah.
Cut it in half and we could put the art corner back. That's what I would do.
Ooh,
Nostalgia.
wait, what's
Bring
the
it in.
art corner?
The art corner was a store back in like early Disney days, like long, long time ago.
Oh, wow.
And it was really cool. And they would have like live artists there, which they do already now in they do it sometimes in the Disneyana store, the gallery, but they also do it in DCA in that store across from Lamplight Lounge. I can't remember the name of it, but it's really cool. And I think they should do more stuff like that. But
Huh.
yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anything else clever right now to do with the Buzz Lightyear Astro
with Buzz
Blaster.
Lightyear. Yeah, you're right. It is a big space. I can't really figure, like, I'm just so stuck on what it is. Like, even the other Buzz Lightyear rides are the same thing, just like a different layout and different name, I think, in two other parks. So yeah, they have plenty that they should change over there in
Right.
Tomorrowland.
I have
Anything else that you'd got?
I
Gotcha
have
like a
so much stuff.
fish.
So I also
I'm
put
sorry.
Astro Orbiters on there, but I realize this is a personal choice because I just don't enjoy that ride. It's like boring, another carnival type ride. However, the footprint is so small, right? It's like a spin ride. What do they call them? There's a name for it.
Flat ride.
Flat ride.
Flat ride.
It's such a small piece of land for an entire attraction. It's just it bottlenecks everything right there, which is annoying. However, it is pretty cool at the opening of Tomorrowland. But if they were to bring the people movers back, I would say trash it and just let us stare at the people movers driving by. But that's not going to happen. So let's say keep that one. Don't scrap it. Leave it. Fine.
Fine.
I just remember when they were dismantling it a couple years ago, and I was so excited. I was like, "What are they going to do?" And then they just put it back. I'm like, "Oh, they were just like refurbing it." The other thing I put on here is Launch Bay. As much as I enjoy that building and all the things that have been through it throughout the years, they're just not doing anything with it. Like it's a DVC lounge now, which is great. But
Oh, the Disneyland Tomorrowland one. Yeah.
yes, yeah. And I just feel it's like huge and they're only accessing so much of the space. And I just feel that that's another real estate area that we could do something cooler with. Or maybe keep the building and then put a show in it or something. Like have something to do over there besides a DVC lounge. Like I don't know. It was like pretty lively with the Star Wars stuff downstairs, and that I think is still there, but they don't let you in anymore since COVID.
Right.
I don't know
And it's
what's
like
going
nobody
on.
care. There's nothing to promote anymore.
True.
Like they already have the land across the way.
Yeah.
Hey, is
Yeah.
Hyperspace Mountain still there? I haven't been in a while.
I can't remember if it's still there right now. I remember they brought it back for a while, but I don't remember if it's switched back or not right now.
Yeah,
I
so
thought.
Tomorrowland is getting most of the scalpel for your gutting and replacement.
Oh yeah. Oh, also I have Autopia and the subs on there. But
Yikes.
I only actually want Autopia because Autopia takes up a ton of space. Their footprint is huge. Get rid of Autopia. It's freaking boring. I get it. You're a little kid. You want to drive a car. Like, go do that. Great America. Come back to Disneyland and let's do something cooler in that space because Tomorrowland just needs something. Let's be real, right? But the subs I want to keep because I have to say that water is super pretty. And I love walking over there and just like the look of it with the subs going through it. It's like a live, breathing space of Disneyland. And I like it. I like the look of it, and people love the submarines. So
Lagoon. It is pretty and sparkly and blue, but it takes up a lot of space.
it does take it. That's why let's get rid of
So
both.
much
I guess
space.
if they get rid of both Autopia and the subs for something super cool, not freaking Tron, something new and amazing like Cosmic Rewind level, then fine, get rid of them both. But I do like that lake over there. It is really, really pretty. Or the
So what if
lagoon.
you had to stick with that remaking challenge? So let's say if we had to reboot the submarines. I guess they did that once, right? With turning it into the original to Finding Nemo.
Yes.
So I guess how you're always kind of just stuck with the submarine going in the water. It's very specific already, the way that ride is set up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't leave much.
It doesn't. I would turn it back into the original, if anything. No. Again, I want Yesterland. I'm not gonna go away from that.
And at least with so Autopia gutted and remade. We've talked about that before. Probably remade as like some sort of futuristic car or like
electric
vehicle.
cars. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get rid of those fumes.
And supposedly
make the track a little cooler. I guess our track is pretty cool already compared to Disney World. Like,
oh yeah,
Disney World's Speedway.
Disneyland.
But we like go through the forest area, so that's pretty cool. Maybe make it a little cooler, upgrade it a little bit, make the cars better. Maybe what do you think could possibly happen if you just let people drive without having a track?
Oh, it would just be crashing left and right.
Yeah, I
because of the
guess.
kids, because it's kids.
Yeah.
I think
What
if
if
they're
you made
actually,
it skinnier so they couldn't even like turn their car?
oh, like
Like
a
instead
water
of a
slide.
track in the middle of your car, it's just like gives you enough room to feel like you're free driving, but you can't like cause anything besides a backup, which already happens on that ride.
True.
Except for
Or
they can control your car somehow. I don't know how they do it, but they can make your car drive.
oh wow, so it's already like secretly futuristic. We just don't know it. Like technology back there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to do something. I agree with all of those guts and remakes. I just don't have anything that I'm excited about to remake it in its place though. But those were the right things that need
Right.
to be gutted. Anytime I hear gut, I just think of I'll gut you like a fish from
Oh,
Scream.
gosh.
That's all I think of it. Okay, what else? Oh, I found a really cool idea, of course,
Okay.
on Reddit. On Reddit, it was along that same line. It was a whole thread about like what would you gut and redo. But the one that spinned off of it that was so cool that I think you will love is the Muppets 3D. What is it called? Muppets 3D?
Yeah. 3D
So,
vision for the
Muppet 3D
show.
Vision. Yeah. Gut and remake it as the same thing. And so they said, bring it in and do more live singing and all the puppets live.
Can we please have a
Right.
meet and greet with Sweetums though?
Who's that?
He
That big tall thing?
the big scary guy with the big teeth.
True. It already
He's so
exists, right?
cute.
Somebody
Yeah,
walks
he's there.
out.
He comes out every show and he has the little like ball thing or whatever. Like, can he just be at the end of the show so you can meet him? That would make it so much cooler.
He might as well come out, right?
I
He
would think
should.
so. I don't know. There's got to be some reason they can't make him into a meet and greet, but I don't know what it is.
Meet and greet. Okay, so what I like about this idea though is bringing it back to being live. So that's interesting because most times something is gutted and remade, it's usually the other way around. Like it takes less work
Right.
to
Turn
put
it
the
into a
same show
screen.
on.
Right.
Yeah. And so this would be the opposite, and it would be such a good idea. So fans are saying do a full-on live show that happens, like the same show, but it's live, meaning nothing's on screen and all the Muppets you are seeing are actually being puppeteered underneath the stage like a
Right.
real puppet show. And it could have sing-alongs like Rainbow Connection, they said.
Stop. That'd be
And then someone
so
already wrote
fun.
like, oh my God, I'm tearing up just imagining this.
Oh my
What I love
God.
about other Disney fans, they're just so fun. So they're like, yeah, let's do this. He could be on a log. There could be a Swedish chef thing. And then you could walk out and there you're at the Swedish chef's restaurant. Like they basically reimagined that whole Muppet Plaza over in Hollywood Studios. And this version on Reddit is like 10,000 times better than what's there. And it's not that much of a change, at least from my fan point of view. Like, say it's the same brand, it's the same characters, like just kind of, take it to the next level and not technologically take it to the next level, like entertainment wise.
Right.
Usually there was like, how can we make this techie? It doesn't need to be like, take it
You don't
back
have
to
to
its
turn everything
roots.
into a roller coaster. You can
Yeah.
just
We don't need
have some
screen.
better entertainment. Yeah.
And imagine Muppets 3D without the stupid glasses, just an actual Muppet show happening
Right.
live. Oh, it would be so cute.
That'd be
I'm
so
there
fun.
for it. And I like this idea.
I wonder if they can do Muppets live.
They should be able
Like,
to. I've seen a couple of Muppet shows done by Jim Henson's uh, es- estate. Is that what
sure.
it's called? Like his the people who carry on his legacy.
Okay.
They did one here in New York City for a while, and it was adults only, and so it was
Nice.
really fun. And it was done very theatrical, so you could see the edge of where the show started with the characters, and you could see the people all in black on the bottom, moving around and doing the things. And sometimes they'd be behind a curtain, but I really loved that they left it that way. There was like something charming about it, seeing like all the puppeteers at work,
Yeah, I
sort of
love
like some
that.
of
When I was
those.
at D23 and saw that, I was like, this is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So they could do it. Come on, we need to employ these talented puppeteers out there that need to be working somewhere. You could
Seriously.
go to
Was that
Orlando.
Muppets, like the Muppets we know from the show, or was that Avenue Q or whatever that show was called with
This
the
one
puppet?
was the people who made the Muppets. They're not allowed to use the word Muppets anymore. So because because Disney bought the Muppets, it's really sad. Like a lot of Jim Henson's creations now can't only be called Muppets anymore either. Like that went
Mm,
to the ones we know as the family, like the Kermit and the Miss
yeah,
Piggy. But technically, he created them all equally as Muppets. So anything that was on a Jim Henson arm was a Muppet until Disney came along and ruined it. But yeah, so this isn't from a third party. Like these were the actual people who did the OG Muppets,
very
and
cool.
it was so fun. I think I went to a couple of those at the
I just
time.
remember
Found that it
hearing
was
about
fun.
that other one, what I think it's called Avenue A or
Avenue Q is very
Avenue Q.
good off Broadway show. It's still going on strong. I think it's came back after the pandemic. Goes
That's
on
adults
tour.
only too, isn't it?
It's very adult themed. I've seen kids in there, but it's there's hookers, drugs, there's things, everything. It's like
All the
a
things.
real New York City block. Like you get everything that you would get in that corner or that avenue. They
Right.
made it like real versus Sesame Street,
Got it.
which is like
Right.
a
Yeah.
cutesy version of a Brooklyn street.
That's
Uh,
amazing. Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, Muppets. There were other ideas that came from Reddit. Did you spot any that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so I'll go off on the Muppet thing a little bit further
Yeah.
actually. One of them I really liked was about Muppets that somebody had posted. Um and they said in Hollywood studios, hold on, is this the only one here? Let me see. I have a few things written down. Okay. So this person, George3 was their handle, and they had three really good ideas. But the Muppets one, I'll start there. It says at Hollywood studios, very carefully move Muppets vision to Sunset Boulevard, retheme R&R, which is rock and roller coaster.
Uh,
Why is it R&R? Is it
rock
rock and roller coaster? Like rock and roller coaster?
rockin'. I
Rock
thought it
it.
was rockin'. Wait.
Like two words,
Rock and
right?
roll or rockin', like rockin' the boat.
Yeah, I thought it was rocking like, yeah, we're gonna rock.
Yeah.
I don't
Or
know.
is it rock and roller
Now I'm
coaster?
twisted because that's an acronym this person used, R&R. We'll figure it out. So it says, as rumored, which we've heard before too, and talked on the podcast, to change into Electric Mayhem, which is heck of fun, which is also another version of live puppet or
Oh,
Muppets we've seen before. That was amazing,
yeah.
super fun. So change Rock and Roller Coaster into Electric Mayhem overlay, and then move Muppet Visions over there. And they could call that area Muppet Studios, which I thought was really cute. So it's like a
Oh,
sub area of
yeah.
Hollywood Studios. And then give Muppet Labs a permanent home as a walk around, also, which would be super
Oh.
cool. And then they want to stick Pizza Rizzo over there for, get all the Muppet stuff over there. And it will make sense. So now you have your restaurant, your show, and your walk around. I thought that was, and the
I like the
attraction.
Muppet Studios goes and keeps that loose theming going of Hollywood Studios, because then you'll have like the Pixar studio stuff, and then you have
Right. Yeah. All the
Muppet
studios.
Studios,
And
Lucasfilm.
then they have Star
Yeah.
Wars in the back. Like they could actually like really just go
Yeah.
off all their IPs, right? That they own. And then a couple other ones. So this person also said Small World in Walt Disney World, which I also agree they should just do something with because they're not their marquee. Their facade sucks. I'm
Same
always like
marquee.
so sad when I see it.
It's
Um,
weird to me that at least it feels like the whole ride is somehow in that little building.
yeah, yeah, it does. It's like it just for some reason ruined by being all tiny at the front when you've already
Yeah.
been on the Disneyland one.
You know what it's
Um,
like is the Golden Tiki in
uh,
Vegas that's like in the strip mall, and you're like, what is this? Why is it
yeah,
here? And then you go inside and you're like, okay, it's there.
I love that. It does make it more. That one's opposite. It makes it more magical because you go in this like unassuming strip mall and it looks like this tiny little door, and all of a sudden there's like this big old magical world
Yeah,
behind it, which is
that's
pretty
true.
cool. But they don't nail it with Small World somehow
Yeah,
in
you're
Disney
like,
World.
what?
Just saying. But they said they should move this to Epcot into the World Showcase, and I'm like, what? Like, why haven't they?
That makes so much sense.
Like at the front, like in that gap in the middle or something, like somewhere where it conjoins everything together. You know what I mean? It just like that's
That
pretty
makes
cool,
so much
actually.
sense.
I really like that idea. And it says it's obviously more about children of the world than fantasy or magic anyway. They can use the space in Fantasyland to do an Encanto dark ride or something like that, he said.
Oh,
which who knows, we might see that coming
doors, doors,
anyway, beyond the
doors.
mountain.
I never thought about Small World really not fitting Fantasyland, and now I'm gonna be stuck on it.
Right. Well, the story behind it is pretty cool, where it's supposed to be they're all little puppets or like dolls they're playing with, something like that. Right. And they're all like supposed to be
Oh, from
like
different
construction
cultures.
paper cutouts. Like that idea
Oh,
is cool that there's like a
come to
giant
life.
child playing with all the stuff in there. It's like a dollhouse
Oh,
almost.
yep. I missed that
I only learned
pre-show
that
story.
recently. It's definitely not part of the ride. You would never know, but I guess that was like their idea, like part of their concept. Okay, so then they said they're back in Hollywood Studios, and they said with the free space now over by Galaxy's Edge, push the border of the land out to Star Tours and alter the theme ever so slightly to be a travel agency set on Batu. Put the elusive Bantha ride. I thought you would love that one.
Finally, bring it back. We got to pause and let everybody know. Galaxy's Edge was supposed to have this really cool ride that added the kinetic energy that the Imagineers are known for. And it's going to be the giant bantha, right? Going around the park or going around the land, and you'd be able to ride it.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez Louise, we never got
Darn
it.
it. And then they said in that area where Pizza Rizzo used to be, you can add a Star Wars dinner show, or oh yeah, in the former Muppet space, you could put a Star Wars dinner show over there, make a big old thing out of it. That would be cool, because that was another thing that they promised that never happened in Batu. There's
They
your
put it on.
space.
They put it instead on the now defunct Galactic Star Cruiser. Jeez Louise.
Right. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. And then I have a couple more. Do you want me to just run through them?
Yeah. What else?
Okay. So someone named Puppy or Bagel, which is a very weird selection. Like, which would you choose? Obviously a puppy, right?
Bagel.
Or I guess if I'm asking if I'm hungry for something, it would
Right.
definitely be bagel. Okay, moving on. It says, I don't understand how Toy Story Land doesn't have a pizza planet. It would be so fun to have a big arcade to escape from the heat and grab a slice of pizza. What are your thoughts on that initially?
I already have the answer to this Bagel's question. It's because it's Andy's backyard, and Pizza Planet is not full size in his backyard, unfortunately. And
That
that's what
is
happens, right?
right.
We get these immersive lands that we do love. They're amazing, but then you get stuck in that story and you can't break it.
Yeah. I'm so fascinated that they've like actually changed things up in Batu to where they're allowing these
Yeah.
other characters to come out.
They're getting a
Because it
lot
was really
looser.
stuck, and Avengers Campus just went off kilter for that. And it was so cool, and everybody
Yeah.
eats it up, including myself. So I'm really glad that they did. But yeah, you're exactly right. This person, Rocket Past Six, wrote back and said, because Toy Story Land is supposed to be Andy's backyard, which makes you a toy. The toys other than Buzz and Woody never go to Pizza Planet, if I remember right. So that would break the immersion.
Break
And I was just thinking about Andy's lunchbox is one of the, or it's called Woody's lunchbox because
Woody's
the
lunchbox.
lunchbox itself is decorated with Woody on it, but it's Andy's. He like owns it, right?
Yeah.
And it's
It's
supposed to be
Andy's
this.
Woody's lunchbox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like
And
my
it's like
Mickey
on
lunchbox.
its side, and you're basically like the stuff you can buy there is like what a little kid might have in their
Yeah.
lunchbox, which is hella cute, like Pop
So
Tarts
cute.
and peanut butter and jellies. Like that's really actually cool. I didn't think that far into the design of that restaurant until I read this article.
Very clever.
So I have one last one, and this is my own armchair imagineering.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this is going to be near the front of Epcot, because that's supposed to be like the futuristic area, right? And we're kind of like leaving that behind in our dust at this point, I think.
Behind the walls.
Also, some of the things that were on my scrap list that we never got to were Hot Take Land Pavilion. Sorry about it. Living with the Land. See you later. I don't know what to tell you. If we get
Soren
something cooler in there. Oh, Soren, bye.
gone.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
It's like the best. It's like everyone's favorite ride out there, right?
It's weird because because I guess it's not there, and it's probably the highest on the thrill factor that matches the lowest of, I don't know the actual terms, but like ages, like that sweet spot where everyone in your family can get on it. And for the
Right.
person who's I guess the least excited about thrills, this is their threshold. Like this is as high as they'll go. Like Granny and
the
Little
footprint
Orphan
is
Annie can
small.
get on it. Yeah.
footprint small, and you could pack a ton of people in there too.
Yeah,
Damn it.
the eating machine.
Okay,
But
can
yeah,
you just
that's
move it somewhere else so you could put something in there? Just scoot the building over. It's on wheels, right? It's got to be.
fly away. Fly away.
Right. But I think they should do some type of AI exhibit at the front of, or like kind of near that area that they're kind of building out all the like their own what's it called? Not Imagination Land, the other side. They don't even call any of that anymore anyway. It's all called something more magical now. I forgot what the new lands are called. But
in the front of Epcot?
yeah, they have like the more
world?
tech side.
Yeah,
the
there's like world, if they're all world
Communicore or something like that.
It'll be like world this world.
Yeah, world imagination, world future, or
I'm trying to think
whatever
of
the
what the
heck it's
Moana
called.
one is next.
Oh
Elements,
yeah, I
water,
can't
what
remember
is it?
either.
Wind?
I don't even know where that is in my brain, like where they place that. Anyway, they should put an AI exhibit and call it Small Wonder, because I wanted to make a full circle
That would be
and
so
have
good.
some kind of amazing AI exhibit where you can interact and use AI. Because one of the things I hate about AI is so many people are terrified of it. Like
Yeah.
they are literally scared of it. Like numerous of my forward thinking friends are like scared of AI and they're just like so turned off by it. But I feel like if it's somewhere in a place full of edutainment, like Epcot is, that people will get firsthand action with it and get to see it and how it could be useful, instead of me telling them and them just thinking
They
I
really
cheat
should.
and get away with murder at my job. That's all I ever hear is like, does your boss know you're? I'm like, my boss taught me about AI. Okay.
Yeah, right? It's so weird because some people don't even realize, like, I don't want to say her name out loud because she'll probably turn on, but Amazon's little thing,
Right.
that's AI. Like we've had it this whole time. Like
We
Waze is a form of AI, and Google Maps and all this stuff. So people, yeah, they freak out of the unknown. And what better way to teach people, like you said, is through the world of edutainment at
That's
Epcot.
right.
Let's do it. They should do a lot more of that. I miss the days of it feeling like the World's Fair where you're like learning about cutting edge technology. And we have that. Like we're living in that age right now. And right now, the Disney parks don't match that.
That's right.
That would be very cool. And also part of that full circle moment, you blew my mind. That would be the best. You know, there's a saying now people have, they say, oh, I didn't see this on my bingo card.
Yes. Yeah.
Like something that's unexpected is if Disney took an obscure property from Fox, like Small Wonder, and didn't even reboot it at all as media. It just was a new ride all of a sudden. At Epcot, it'd be like, what? That was not on my bingo card. Like, not a Disney Plus show, not a movie, a full-on attraction about AI and the wonders of it.
Like, guess what? Small Wonder is coming to Epcot.
I would love that so much. It hits all the Epcot things. Like, it has the old school nostalgia. They could bring it in. They could still follow that entire storyline we dreamt up earlier in the episode, but just make it a ride.
Yep. And I've seen so many people in these Armchair Imagineering threads talking about nostalgia, and especially Epcot, people want more 80s brought back. They want that vibe of the 80s version of Epcot. And like, hello, perfect. Put an 80s sitcom AI show / Disney Plus, whatever it becomes, because of our episode today. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure of it. It's a small, wait, what's this title going to be? It's
Small Wonder after
all. And there you have it. What a wild episode. And our first one on YouTube, technically. So here we are saying hi to a TV cam. But this is still a podcast, and we love all our listeners. And thank you all for this crazy episode and joining us to talk about Vicky from Small Wonder, other artificial intelligence. We talked about places and palaces and everything in between. And then, of course, Armchair Imagineering, which is always one of our favorite things to do.
That is right. Well, thank you all for listening and watching, and we hope you enjoyed episode 151 of the Disneyholics Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disneyholics.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, send us a DM on Instagram or find us online at thedisneyholics.com. Okay, bye.
Man, I really want to go to Disneyland.